People were very mad at Josh Giddey for everything that went down, and honestly, I'm really not that surprised. I mean, the allegations, they were pretty disgusting on what was going on, but all of a sudden, the energy kind of just shifted. In a weird turn of events, people started getting mad at Malika Andrews more than Josh Giddey. Wait, Malika Andrews? How did she get involved in this situation? It seemed like out of nowhere, the hatred for Josh Giddey kind of went over to Malika Andrews, and a lot of people started calling her out. It seemed like damn near half the NBA community was kind of in this civil war. Part of them was like, yeah, we believe Malika Andrews is doing her thing again where she doesn't talk about a white player and allegations. And the other part said, yo, calm the fuck down, you guys are kind of overreacting. And as somebody who's talked about Malika Andrews a lot on this channel, I have a lot of things I want to say in this video. Now, there are a couple characters in this situation that we need to go over. The first one obviously being Josh Giddey, because this entire situation, you know, with him and the alleged 14 or 15-year-old girl is why we're even talking about this. Another person we need to talk about is Stephen A. Smith. He also plays a pretty big role in this situation. Another person is someone that nobody expected, and I never thought I'd be able to talk about on this channel, but Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant was a former Dallas Cowboys receiver, and you could argue is one of the greatest receivers in Cowboys history. Ever since leaving the NFL, he's been more of a player movement guy where he's talked a lot and he's defended the players. He's also someone who's not afraid to speak his mind. I know a lot of people try to give him the CTE claim, but honestly, I think he's just someone that speaks his mind when others won't. And I don't have any bias towards this. I mean, yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan, but it's not like Dez Bryant is one of my favorite players of all time, you know, like let's just be honest for a sec. And I might be asking, how do all of these four people have to do with what's going on? Well, Josh Giddey is the first character, and obviously he was involved in an allegation that he was talking to a minor. The scandal has gotten very interesting over the past couple days. There's a lot of reports and things that have gone on ever since I did drop my Josh Giddey video. As of right now, the latest that we have is that apparently the team has already known about this and they already know what's going on. And apparently the girl, her parents are just not willing to cooperate with police, so that's something to think about. Basically, the conception is that she lied about her age and Josh Giddey is completely innocent. The next person we have to talk about is Stephen A. Smith, who comes up in a couple times during this. For one, Stephen A. Smith said he didn't want to talk about Josh Giddey originally because there could have been lawsuits, and I do understand that. I feel like when you talk about certain situations, you have to tread a certain line so you don't get fucking sued. I think there was this YouTuber who talked about Nicki Minaj or Cardi B, one of those people, and basically they said a bunch of shit that just was not true and was basically harassing them and reporting them on her YouTube videos. Well, Nicki Minaj or Cardi B ended up suing that YouTuber for a bunch of fucking money. And honestly, this can happen with anyone. YouTubers, journalists, just don't make fake shit about people. If you talk about allegations, you have to tread a certain line, which I think I did pretty well. But Stephen A. Smith, I think he had a fair point why he didn't want to talk about it, and we kind of just moved on. But a lot of people were wondering, why didn't Malika Andrews talk about the situation? I know in the curious case of Malika Andrews, we kind of went over a pattern that we saw. Malika loves to talk about black people and, you know, the things they've done, whether it's in the right context or whether it just doesn't make sense at all. Like there was this NBA player named Adrian Payne who died, and she decided to talk about an allegation that he had that wasn't even fucking true. There's so many things that happened in that video. You go check it out if you want to see. I fully went in depth in that video. But the point is that she does have a tendency to talk about certain players and not talk about others when they have allegations. And this Josh Giddey thing, this was the perfect time for her to talk about it, but she did not. Now, I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a sec because there's a reason why she didn't talk about it originally. Now, let's do a timeline, right? The Josh Giddey news came out on Thanksgiving morning. Malika Andrews did not film on Thanksgiving. In fact, she didn't end up talking about it till I believe Monday morning, which was the first chance that she got to. Now, granted, while she did talk about it the first chance she get, I didn't really like the way she talked about it. I posted the clip on Twitter. I think she talked about it for 50 seconds and kind of just moved on. Like it was something they briefly talked about before going into commercial break. Like on one hand, she did talk about it. On the other, it seemed like she just really didn't care to talk about it. I know people were trying to compare the way she talked about Josh Giddey, how she talked about other situations, and honestly, they kind of do look the same. I can't read body language, so I'm not going to tell you, oh, well, actually, what she meant to say was like, I really can't tell you. It seems like she reported on it the same. But about a couple hours before she actually said anything, someone came out and they had a lot to say about her. And that person was Dez Bryant. I'm going to put the tweet on the screen right here, but he went off on Malika Andrews, and I think all the criticism he had was pretty valid. Now, when this was tweeted, a lot of people, again, they had mixed reactions. They're like, oh yeah, Dez Bryant's calling her out, let's go Dez. And the other half was like, oh, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, stop talking, oh, CTE, CTE. But out of all the people that offended Malika Andrews, it was Stephen A. Smith that I was very interested in what he had to say. He went on a show and he talked about her for a while. There's like a 10-minute clip that he posted where he went in great detail. And there's one clip that I have a problem with that has been driving me up a fucking wall that I can't stop thinking about.
Josh Giddey is being investigated for allegedly messing with an underage girl. We don't know the facts. And because we don't know the facts, and we represent a network, we have to make sure I's are dotted and T's are crossed before we provide commentary to that.
The crazy thing is, you almost convinced me that this was a good point, because like I just said, you shouldn't talk about something because you might get sued. But on the other hand, what are you talking about? Do not tell me, do not try to convince me that things like this, not having the facts, has stopped journalists from talking about situations before. I mean, I don't want to get too grim, but do y'all remember Kobe Bryant when he died and how TMZ fucked up that situation, and how Fox News and all these fucking news anchors, how they fucked that up? Y'all did not wait for the facts. Y'all wanted to get the story. You wanted to get the clicks. It was straight up clickbait. People will clickbait for views, and that just happens to be the world we live in. But do not try to sit here and act like journalists, oh, they're gonna wait for all the facts. No, you don't. I'm not gonna say which YouTuber because I think he's a piece of shit, but there's a certain YouTuber that didn't wait for the Kobe Bryant situation to come out, and he just made up some clickbait title, had some clickbait footage, and claimed that he knew what happened, even though we knew nothing about it. And why? It was for views, it was for recognition. The reality is some people just don't care about having the facts and news. Me personally, I always try to have it, but I'm not perfect. I'm still kind of pissed off at the way I handled the Josh Giddey situation. I think I didn't wait long enough to talk about it, but I'm not perfect. I'm a fucking human. I'm not a network. I'm going to fuck up. That's on me. But Stephen A, I respect you, dog, but do not act like journalists care about getting the facts right. Now, maybe Stephen A. Smith personally, he cares about getting the facts right, and I understand that. Some people have their morals, but we're not gonna act like ESPN and journalists as a whole, their whole thing is getting shit out as soon as they possibly can. All she had to do was just bring it up for a small amount of time, and I don't think people would have been as mad. Now, granted, she did eventually do it, but it's how long she waited. But then again, playing devil's advocate, we could say, oh, well, you know, she couldn't because she couldn't go on NBA Today, but maybe she could have talked about it on a different platform in another way. Regardless, I'm not Malika Andrews. I can't control what she does. But no, we're not hating on Malika because it's unwarranted, and people aren't sending death threats because of this situation alone. It's a combination of things, and I think we're at a point now where people just don't like her to the point where she can do a very small minor thing that isn't really that bad. Like if I had to make a tier list of all the shit that Malika Andrews has done, I would probably put this around the bottom of the list. Generally, what she did wasn't that bad. But you take everything she's done and you bottle it up into this big ass ball of dumb shit she's done. It makes people kind of have these low expectations where it doesn't matter what you do, you're gonna get hate regardless. It's a very small minor thing, and yet maybe some people are gonna say, no, you're downplaying what she did, and I understand if that's how you feel. The fact of the matter is people don't like her because of the shit that she's done before, and Des Bryant isn't wrong to call her out. I think everything he said is 100% true, especially the part about her being a puppet. I'm sorry, I could not get that off my mind. Even when I was trying to go to sleep, I kept thinking about this. I might have been wrong about Malika in some ways. I don't know if she's 100% racist, like to her personally. I can't promise you that. Some people may bring up her fiance, some people may bring up her past. I can't promise you she's 100% racist, but I do think she is 100% a puppet used by ESPN. Now, does my respect go down for her? Absolutely. I think anybody that's a puppet is a fucking spineless corporate loser, but that's just my personal opinion. But am I shocked at the backlash that she's getting? Absolutely not. Am I surprised that everybody went after her for such a small minor detail? No, I'm really not. People do not like this person, and I think they're wrong to call out Malika Andrews. Now granted, should all the focus be towards her and not Josh Giddey? No. I think Josh Giddey should still be getting some pushback, especially because there's a lot of information coming out right now. But I don't know, I thought it was pretty interesting that all of a sudden the hate got shifted to Malika Andrews more than Josh Giddey, the person that's being investigated right now. But like I said, I'm really not that surprised, honestly, and I think a lot of people are finally starting to put two and two together. Look, I'm gonna just say this though to end the video. Don't send her fucking death threats. I think sending death threats is not really something you should do. I feel like there's a very small amount of people that deserve death threats, and I'm talking about people who have committed some of the worst crimes in human history. But yeah, gentlemen, that's all I really gotta say. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe. We are posting every single day in December, or we're gonna try to until I eventually burn out. Now, before I end the video, I just need to make sure you guys understand I have no bias whatsoever. I would never wear a jersey that talks about a certain player, basically showing where I stand on this situation. I would never do something like that. Like, how low do you guys think of me? What, you think I'm petty? Come on now. I'm not petty. What the fuck is this? Come on, y'all. I'm better than that.